template literals. So I think you all know by now, you have already been knowing that whenever we declare any string, if I'm saying name equal to string always goes inside the single or double quotation. Single or double quotation. This is called as declaring the string. You cannot simply declare the string like you do for the number. Anything that goes inside the single quotation and double quotation is called as string. Now, when you are trying to print the string value in your terminal, this is the terminal where if you're trying to print the string value, what probably we are doing, we are just seeing console.log, console.log, and then we are writing anything inside a single or double quote saying this is my string value, and we are printing it. It will get printed. Now take another example. I'll say let str equal to, I'll give some word here, testing check. In order to print this value, what I'll do, I'll say console.log here. And if I have to write some statement also along with the statement, if I have to print that value, then I will write in this way. It goes in this way, single quotation, double quotation. And here I'll say, I wanted to print the value of the variable along with some text for info. After that, what I have given this particular value, if I execute this program now, if I run this particular program, basically it will print this same statement. I wanted to print the value of variable along with some text for information. But if I have to print this value string, and right before printing the string value, I also want to print some text. For example, if you're writing addition of two number, you might have seen here in the top, yesterday we were writing the addition of two number, and we said here, we said addition result. So what basically it will do here, it will add 10 plus 20 and will give me the addition result. But before the addition result, if I want to write something inside the string saying that this is the final value of addition. And then if I have to, what is this? This is nothing but a variable which is storing the final value. So that particular variable, if I'm writing here, and if I have to print the variable value, then I'll be writing here plus and that addition result. Why plus? If you add plus followed by the variable name, then basically what it will do, it will print this text first and then it will print the final value. Generally, what we are doing, in general term, if I have to only print this value, which is 10 plus 20 equal to 30. So let me print this and you will see. See here for the first time. Okay, if you see here, it is printing the value as 30. It is directly printing the actual result that we have. Result is nothing but 20 and 30. But you also know that inside the console.log, if you put any value in the single quote or double quote, that value will be printed as it is. When I say as it is, if you see the last statement here, we have written console.log and this particular statement, some text we have given inside a string. Now same string is getting printed here, same value. There's nothing new. Everything is getting printed here as it is. Same thing. But now think in this way that you have to print the value of addition, but before printing you also want to provide some informative text. And the reason for the informative text is because someone, if he is looking at the code, they should be able to know what actually you are doing here, what actually the result, what actually the output is going to come from here. So when they're going to provide some informative text, So what basically will happen if you'll give the informative text inside a string, which will be in the double quotation or single quotation, followed by the plus with this final result, final variable. This particular plus followed by the final variable. Now I'll do here, I'll add some text inside the string. I'll add some text. This is addition value. This is addition value. Now let me execute this one more time. So if you see here, if I go up, if you see here, it is saying this is addition value and value is 30. It is also telling the text that this is the addition value and the value is 30. Now, if someone look at this particular statement, if someone look at this statement here, what they will come to know that, okay, this is talking about this is the addition value and this is the value that is stored inside the variable called additional result, this one. Now, the same way, if I have to use the template literals to write the same information, what basically I will do, how will I write that one? But in order to write the template literals, yeah, template literals. Template literals symbol start with this way. This particular symbol you'll find right below the escape button on your keyboard. Below the escape button, there is a symbol called as tilt. People call it as a tilt, or people also call it as a template literals. Now, when you click on that particular button for multiple time, this is how it will display. Kind of backtick it will be in that way. Now, this template literals, whatever you write inside this template literals, it will be act as a same string that you have given. Anything written inside the template literals is considered as, did anyone dropped?
Yeah, again joined.
Okay. So I was saying here template literals. So anything which is written inside the template literals is considered as string. Now let's see the example. We have declared a string here where we said let string equal to testing check. Now I'll say console.log and then I will put the template literals value. Value in the sense I'll put that particular symbol. Here I'll say this is template literals way of printing the value inside console. Now this is done. We have written this particular statement here, template literals way of printing the value here, but it will only print this text value. We also need to print the string value, the value that this variable is storing. And for that, what we'll be doing basically, we will go here, we'll put a dollar symbol and open and close curly braces. And inside this, you'll put the variable, which variable you want to print. Now let's print it. See what it is saying. This is template literals way of printing the value inside console. And what is the value? It is testing check. You can also write however you want to beautify here, you can do it beautification. See, it is doing the same thing here. Whatever we have seen here, if I write it here inside this console.log state, this particular statement, I'll say plus str. Now look, both are doing the same thing. I'll also segregate here with some. Okay, so you can see both are doing same thing. console.log is also printing the same value. It is also having some text, but when you provide the console.log text, string text inside the single quote or double quote, then the format will be, in order to print this particular variable details, you should always write plus followed by the variable name, this one. But in template literals, you have to start with the backtick. This is the backtick, and this is template literals. Whatever the text you will provide here. And once you complete writing the text, after that, when you want to print the value of this string, value of this particular variable, you have to provide in a dollar followed by open and curly braces. Inside the open and curly braces, your final variable values, variable name should go inside that. So syntax here is, syntax is dollar open and curly braces variable name. Dollar open and curly braces variable name. That's the only requirement. That's the only thing that template letters will be doing. Give me 1 second, guys. I will just mute for a second.
Yeah, Robin, you're not audible.
Hello.
Oh, yes, you're audible now.
Okay. So I was saying that this particular console.log, this is the template literals value, and this is how we print the string inside template literals. Now you might get a question that, is this the interview question? Definitely not. They will not ask you what is template literals. Uh, if they ask you the what are the different way of printing the string value, or how can you declare the different way of declaring the string, then you can say using the single tick, single quotation, double quotation, and also inside the console.log we can use uh, template literals value. But for that, the syntax will be dollar followed by the variable name that we want to print. That's the only function, that the only purpose it has. There is no other purpose. Any question here?
Yes, Robin. Uh, just wanted to get it clear, uh, like, are these two are different topics? I mean, first you said that console.log and whatever text you want to write, and then
Mhm.
plus add a variable.
Yes.
That's it, and that will print. And in the next one, you said we need to use this literal the button which is under escape,
Mhm.
and then we need to add the variable. We need to add dollar sign. So are these both different thing or the same?
The purpose of both is same. The purpose
Mm-hmm.
of both is to print the actual result
Okay.
the way you wanted to print along with some custom text. The
Mm-hmm.
purpose is same, but syntax is different. If you're using a single quotation or double quotation along with
Mm-hmm.
some custom text, these are the custom text, right? You want
Yes.
to print some value with the custom text. When you want to print some value with the custom text and you are using single quotation or double quotation this way,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to use plus followed by the which value you want to print. Where the
Okay.
value is, final value is stored, it is always stored inside a variable. It will not be stored somewhere else. It will be inside the variable. Now this is a variable, right? We know, we have seen in the first
Yes.
class, this is keyword, this is variable, and this is the value that variable is containing. Now I want to print this value in my console. So where it is getting stored, it is getting inside this particular variable called str. Now, if you are printing this value using the custom text, like you will have some custom text before the actual value. And if you're trying to print using a single quotation or double quotation, then you will write this way, followed by the plus symbol and the variable. This is one way of printing the value. But if you're using template literals to print the same value, even the work actual purpose of the template literals to print the value using a custom value. Now here what you are doing, here also you are using the same thing, but when you are using here, you will not be able to use plus and followed by the variable name. It will throw an error. It will consider it as a normal string. So the other syntax for this one is dollar followed by string name, the value that you wanted to print, the variable where the value is getting stored. So in another way, you should be understanding in this way. So I will say let uh, naming value equal to Robin. Now I want to say something like hello, welcome Robin. Console.log. I use the template literals. I'll say hello. Now see, I have to say my output is hello, welcome Robin, and then I will say uh, good morning. Okay, this is what I want to print. Now you can see in the output, whatever this is our expected output here, hello and welcome is not present, but Robin is present. Robin is my string value. Good morning is not present. I want to print in this same format. First, it should say hello, followed by welcome. Then it should say my name, followed by the good morning. Here, if you see, we are adding some custom text value. And after that, we are printing the actual value that this str is storing. But in this case, what we have to do, we have to say hello, welcome, and then dollar followed by this. Here I'll say naming value, then good morning. Now let's print this one and see what it is doing. It is saying hello, welcome, Robin, good morning. It is saying the same way that we hello. I'll put it as a comma. So, hello, welcome, Robin, good morning. Now, if some the same output, if I have to print without template literals, what basically I'll be doing? I'll go to console.log. I'll say hello, welcome, plus uh, naming value plus good morning. Let's see what it is doing. It is printing the same value. I will just put some space here. I'll put some space here. Here also I'll put some space. Now let's see here. Both are doing the same thing. Hello, welcome, Robin. Good morning. Hello, welcome, Robin. Good morning. Same statement is printed by both this console statement. This is where we are using the template literals, and this is normal string. You see the difference? What is happening in the first line inside the template literals? It is very easy to use. Inside this backtick, you'll write the text that is present, followed by the dollar symbol and the string value where it is getting stored. And whatever the text you want to enter inside that, it will work. But in console.log, in the other way, where you are printing using the normal string, if you look at properly, we have to use the multiple plus action here, because we are trying to add different string. This is one string, and we are saying, okay, when you write this string, add this value plus, like this string plus this value, whatever the value it is storing, then again plus, followed by this particular value. This become a separate string which will go inside a quotation, single quote. This become again separate string which will go inside the quotation, and this become another variable which will store the actual value. So in case if you miss any quotation, let's say this is only for the 3 word, but if you're writing for 10 words, if you miss any quotation, then it will create an issue. And that is why this is a little bit a complicated way and can create an bug, because if you miss single quotation or if you miss plus value, template literals concept came into picture. Inside template literals, you don't have to put any plus, just literals value, literal symbol, and inside the literal symbol, you write any text you want to write, and the value that you want to print, that value should go inside the dollar followed by the open and close curly braces. Both purpose are same. There is no difference. Anything else? Anyone have any other question on this? Okay, all right. So now we'll move to the next topic, which is about the looping concept. I'll create one more file here inside the left hand side. You know by now already that how to create the file. You will click somewhere on the empty space. You click on the new file, and it will give you the detail. I'll say if else.js. Why do we write JS? Because every programming has got the naming convention, and we follow the standard naming convention. Whenever we say .js, you can also put it as .text. Nothing will happen. But the thing is, there will be differences. When you want to run this particular program in JavaScript, it will run in that particular extension only, not in the other extension. So now, so whenever you hear a term anywhere, if someone asks you what is statements, if they ask you what is conditional statement, if they ask you what is loop, if you hear a term called control flow, all these things, whatever you see, statements, conditional statement, loop, and control flow, these are all nothing but a looping concept. Different way people call it as a different value. Some people call it as a statements. Some people will say conditional statements. Some people will say loop. Some people will say control flow. So if any of these four words, if you come across in your interview or in your learning part, or if you are seeing any tutorial, anything, if you are seeing, and if they say, some people will say there what is statement, some people will say what is loop, someone will say control flow, and someone will say conditional statement. So don't get confused that what they are talking about. They are talking about the looping concept. If you see any of these four statement, it means that looping concept they are talking about. And what is looping concept, we'll see it in detail, but first we'll write few things here. So in every programming language, there is a concept called loop. And what basically loop will do, it will check the condition. It will execute the value against the condition, whatever the condition you provide. So let's assume that if I have any condition, if I say that you must learn playwright, then the condition is, if you have to learn playwright, then the condition is, along with the playwright, you also have to learn some language, programming language, and that language can be anything. It can be JavaScript, it can be TypeScript, it can be Java, it can be Python, it can be C#. So the different supported language you have to learn. If you don't learn the different supported language, then you will not be able to learn playwright concept. So in order to learn the different supported language or any language that you will learn, every language has the looping concept. And looping concept basically it will check the condition that you want to provide, and based on the condition, it will start executing the script that you have written. We'll see what are those conditions, but first we'll see different type of looping, different types of loop. First one is if. Inside the if only, there is something called if else. We have nested if, then nested, or you can say if else if ladder. So if it will be like if else followed by again if else in that way. That's about the if concept. Then we have second one is okay. Second one we have is do while. First is while. Then we have do while. Same thing, both while and do while are the same thing. There is there is a little bit of syntactical difference, and we'll see that. Next, we have for loop. Inside for, again, we have multiple topic: for of loop and for in loop. For of loop and for in loop, this will be seeing at the time of object and arrays topic. We will see these two topics, for of and for in loop, when we understand the object and arrays topic. Then you'll come to know what is this actually and what is the purpose of this for of and for in loop. Because if I explain you this one, then I'll have to explain the arrays and object concept now. And if you understand arrays and object concept now, then you'll get confused in the other parts of the loop. So this we will see at the time of array and object concept. Here we'll be talking about the if else ladder, all the if statement, and we'll talk about the while, do while. We'll also talk about the for loop, and we will talk about switch statement, or you can just switch loop. However you think it is better for you to remember, you can use the same statement. So if you think that you are able to understand or able to remember these looping concept using statements, you can always remember or call using that number. And if you're okay with the loop, then you can say switch loop or for loop or do while loop in that way. So based on your convenience, it is different, depend on the people to people. So based on the convenience that you have, you should be able to remember this one. Then we will also talk about the break and continue keyword. So this is what the topic we have inside the looping concept. We have different type of loop. We have if else loop, if else nested if else if ladder. Then we have for loop, different type of for loop. I will put a star marks here because this is the most important for loop, for of loop. Most of the time inside the playwright we'll be using for of loop only. We'll also use if, but do and do while very rarely we'll use. Switch statement very rarely we'll use, but we'll use this for loop concept. We'll use if concept, if else concept, and we'll use the break and continue keyword. But I'll explain you everything. I'll explain you the switch as well as do while and while and do while concept. So these are the different topic we'll be seeing inside our looping concept. So let's first start with the if else statement. The syntax for the if else statement is, for every concept inside the programming language, there will be a syntax. Syntax is nothing but the way you represent the way you write your particular program or particular statement or particular condition. So if I have to write the if else condition, I'm saying that you need to understand if else condition. But you will get a question that if I have to write the if else condition, what is the way? How will I write that one? There is a syntax for everything that you do. Every concept that you write, uh, everything that you learn inside the JavaScript, there is a way to write. You cannot blindly write the way that you want to write it. There is a standard way that is followed by everyone inside the organization. So that you need to follow that one. So in order to write the if statement, if else statement, we'll say if followed by open and close bracket. Inside the open and close bracket, here come the condition or expression. So basically people call it as a condition and they also call it as expression. I'm telling you both the word because if I don't tell you both the word, tomorrow if someone asks you that what is the expression inside the if block, you might get confused that I did not tell you what is expression. But if you learn only condition, and if someone asks you tomorrow what is the condition inside if block, this is called as if block. So you'll understand what is condition. But if I don't tell you expression, you will not be able to explain to the interviewer. You'll say that I did not tell you this topic, or you have missed this one. So that is why if they say the word condition or expression, always understand after if, whenever there is an open and close bracket, inside that whatever condition we are verifying, we'll see how the condition is verified. Those condition are called as condition or expression. And then after this, we'll have the open and close curly braces. Inside the open and close braces, block of code goes here. Now this is the actual syntax There is no other syntax. This is the final syntax universally followed. If there is a condition need to be written, you open and close the curly braces. Inside the open and close curly braces, you'll write the list of code that you want to write, you want to execute. Now remember here, when we see this particular statement, particular box here, open and close box, it says condition and expression. Always remember, condition will always return the Boolean value. Now, what is Boolean? Anyone know by now what is Boolean?
True, false.
Yeah, Boolean is true or false. Now, when I say condition will always return the Boolean value, you might get a question. What is the reason for that? Is it really that to return the Boolean value? It can return also anything else. So understand in this way. When you say condition, if there is a condition that goes inside the bracket, what is condition? What can the condition happen? The condition can happen is, you might ask me a question, is there a class tomorrow? This is a condition. That's the question that you're asking me. And what kind of answer you'll get? Only in Boolean value, either yes or no. It will not be in middle. It will be either yes or no. Assume that tomorrow there is an interview. Interview is already scheduled for tomorrow. Now, if I ask you, any of you, do you have any interview scheduled for tomorrow? What kind of answer you'll give? You'll give the answer in Boolean, yes or no. If I ask you to switch on the fan, if I say, if switch on the fan, or press the fan button, fan switch, what kind of fan button you will be doing? What are the action you can do on the switch button, switch that you have inside your home? Either on switch on the fan or switch off the fan. So there is only two things that you can do here. If I say inside this one, if I say someone got a mark, a student got a marks of 80 marks out of 100. Now he got 80, and I have to check if his grade is A or B, or if he's pass or fail. Then what I'll do, basically I'll say check if the marks is greater than 75, greater than 60, put him inside the grade A. Now when I say if the marks is greater than 60, it will return me only two value, that is either true or false. It will not give me both the value. It cannot give me like neither true nor false. It definitely has to return some Boolean value, return some state, return some condition, which will be in the form of Boolean. Boolean is nothing but true and false. So any question here in the syntax part before we start writing the code here, one line of code, so that you'll understand better. Okay. Now this one, whatever you see the open and close bracket, this is called as parenthesis. This open and close bracket is called as parenthesis. Anything that you write inside the parenthesis, hold the Boolean value, or you can also say hold the condition value or Boolean value. This is parenthesis. Anything that goes inside the parenthesis will hold Boolean value or condition value. Anything that goes inside the open and close curly braces, these are called curly braces. Anything inside the curly braces hold the actions. What is actions here? The list of code, the list of statement that you'll write inside this particular open and close curly braces, that will be called as a action that you are telling your program, you are telling your executor to perform this particular action when it want to perform. So let's see how it is doing the performance here. I will take the example of I'll say let I'll say is equal to 19. This statement you already know. This is the keyword, this is the variable, and we are assigning some variable to some value to the variable. Now we need to verify if else statement. If statement. First we'll start with the if. followed by, we'll go to the if else statement. So I'll say if age, you can take a look. I'm writing the same thing, same syntax that I have written here. Same is right. I am writing here. There is no difference. If age is greater than equal to, what is greater than equal to? It is a type of operators that we have seen.
Operator.
Yeah, this is a type of one of the operator, which is assignment operator. Uh, this is, give me a second, is it the assignment operator? So this is a comparison operator where we are trying to compare the value. So when we go inside the if else statement, we are trying to compare this value. We are saying age greater than equal to 18. And now if I go to next statement, you see there is an indication here that you are writing something wrong. This is not correct. Why? Because we know the if and state, if else statement or if logic, if syntax is nothing but it start with if, which will have the brace parenthesis, which is open and close bracket, followed by the curly braces. Now it means that after if there should be a curly braces. Now, this is the actual way of writing this. This is how we write this one. Now initially we declare the variable here. Variables is declared. In second line, we are checking the condition. Condition is checking. What is the condition here we are checking? We are saying check if the age, whatever the age value is declared here, is greater than or equal to 18. It will check the condition. Now, when it is checking the condition, it means it will return the value. It will return the Boolean value. And we know by now that if anything is returning a value, then that must be stored somewhere. That must be printed. Because if you don't print the value, there is no use of storing the value. So it is storing some value. Why it is storing some value? Because it is checking the condition, and condition will definitely provide some result. Either it will provide the result in true or false format. Now it is providing the result, and I have to print something. So earlier you have seen we are saying that list of block, any block of code will go inside the if else statement, if else block, inside this particular curly braces. Same thing is happening here. I'll say console.log, and then I'll print something, anything. So for example, if it is about the driving license, if it is about the voter list, if it is about the providing the vote to the candidate, then I'll say console.log eligible for vote, eligible for, I'll say driving license. Now I'll save this one. See what we are doing. First we declared a variable with age equal to 18, and then we want to verify that. I'll write it here. Validate that a person is eligible for driving the car when his or her age is greater or equal to 18. Now see, this is our output. This is what I want to print. I want to validate that if someone is 18 years of age or 18 plus age, he should be eligible for the driving license, or he should be able to drive the car. Both the way it works, same thing, driving license or able to drive the car. Now what basically I will do, I have multiple things here. If I look at this particular statement, I have multiple things. First one is the person age should be definitely 18 or greater than 18. He can be 18, but he can also be greater than 18, but he should not be less than 18. Okay, then I'll say, okay, there is something called age, which is 18. This is the benchmark. Below that, the age should not be below this one. Now we'll say, okay, the person whose age is 18. Now I have to check if he is eligible for driving the car or not. And check statement, when we are checking anything, when we are checking, validating the condition, we'll use if statement, or you can also use while loop, do while loop, but that we'll see in the upcoming session. But for now, you understand that you know only one condition statement, one looping concept, which is if. And I am telling you to write this program using the if concept. Now, when you look at this particular statement, the first thing you'll see, okay, there is a benchmark value of 18. The person value should not be less than 18. It can be greater than 18, but it should not be less than 18. It cannot be 17. So the value is 18. When the value of the person is 18, here I'll put the declaration here. I'll say let age equal to 18. This is the benchmark value. And now I have to check some condition, because if I don't check the condition, then I'll not be able to know if he's eligible for driving or not. So what is the condition here? When I validate that the person is eligible for driving the car when his or her age is greater than or equal to 18. It means he can be 18. If he is 18, still he's eligible for driving. If he's more than 18, still he is eligible for driving. So what basically we'll see the condition, we'll see if check if age, the age value that you declared, is greater than or equal to 18, and validate if the person is able to. Then what will happen? It will check for the condition, and then I'll say, okay, if it is greater than or equal to 18, then print the value saying that he is eligible for driving. He or she is eligible for driving. Now, if I execute this one, let's execute. How do we execute the program? We'll say node if else.js. Now see, it is saying that he or she is eligible for driving. This is what it is written in the value. Now assume that, think for a while, that there is a condition where it says it should not be equal to 18. It should always be greater than 18. It should always be greater than 18. This is how we'll write the greater than 18, because greater than will be represented with greater symbol, and greater than equal to will be represented with greater than equal to symbol. Now if I try to print this value, what is my expectation here? What should be the output?
Boolean.
So it should be the true or false.
True or false? Yes.
Any other suggestions? Anyone want to say anything here? Okay, so now if you see here, we have the value, we have the age declared, let age equal to 18, well and good. Now, if age is greater than 18, I'm not saying to validate the age equal to 18. If age is greater than 18, print this value. Now if I save this, if I go and run this program, see, it is not printing anything. I'm saying node operator.js. Sorry, this is for the operator. I'll just clear this one. Node if else.js. See, it is not printing anything. Did you observe here? When I said age is greater than equal to 18, it is printing some value. It is printing he or she is eligible for driving license. But as soon as I say age is greater than 18, it is not printing anything. And what is the reason for that? Because actually we have declared the age value as 18. We have not said age is 19 or 20, but we are checking with the condition. So assume my age is 18. My age is exactly 18. Assume that my age is 18. And I have to apply for the driving license, or I have to apply for the voter ID, so that I should be able to drive. If I have to apply for the driving license, then I should be able to drive two-wheeler or four-wheeler, anything. Now here, my current age is 18, but the government has given the rule saying that age should be greater than 18. It is not equal to 18. It should be greater than 18. Now, do you think I'll be eligible for the driving? No, because my age is still 18. But as per government, it should be greater than 18. It can be anything. It can be 19, 20, 30, 40, 45, 60, 80, 70. Anything can be there. But it should definitely not be 18 or less than that. It should always be greater than that. Now, when I try to print this value, what will happen? It will not print anything. Reason? There is only a greater symbol. Now, always remember, whatever the curly braces you see, whatever the code you write inside this curly braces, this will get executed only when the condition is true. I'll write it here. Code inside the curly braces will get executed when the condition return true value. Okay, whatever you have written inside this curly braces, that will execute only when the condition return true value. Take example here, look at closely. Here we are saying age is greater than 18. I'll write it one more time. I'll just copy and paste this one and I'll put it here one more time. But this time I am saying number equal to 18. And here I'll say number greater than and equal to 18. In place of driving license, this time I'll say to differentiate, I'll say voter ID or any ID. Yours is eligible for voter ID, eligible for vote. Now if I execute, you see the second if statement, this one is getting executed and the first one is not getting executed. It is still not executing. It is still not giving me this particular result. And the reason for that is, I said just now, code inside the curly braces will get executed only, get executed only when the condition return true value. You can see here, the condition is returning the true value. Basically, how the executor will start working, it will come here. The executor will start working from here. It will say, okay, there is a number declared 18. It will go to the next statement. Now, when it go to the next statement, it will see there is a if statement, if logic. It will go to the if logic and it will go inside the condition. It will check this condition and it will see there is a condition written saying number is greater than equal to 18. Now in line number 44, it will have the access to the number, which is 18. In line number 46, it has got the condition to check if the number is greater than equal to 18. It will compare this value. It will say, okay, my value is number is 18, which is greater than equal to 18. 18 is greater than equal to 18? Yes, true. It is not greater than, but it is equal to 18. So whenever you see a symbol called greater than equal to, it means that it is not asking you to validate the number is greater. If it is only greater, if it is only one symbol greater, it means that it should definitely be greater than the value, whatever you have written. But here, when you are saying, when you're comparing greater than equal to, it means it can be greater or it can be equal. If any of these statement is true, then it is true. So the executor start from here. It will have the value as 18. It will store in the memory. It will go to the if statement. It will check for the condition. Condition is saying validate that 18 is greater than or equal to 18. It will say, okay, it is true. Now, when it is true, the executor goes inside this block of code. Whatever you have written inside the curly braces, it will go inside the curly braces, inside this code. When it goes inside this curly braces, it will execute whatever the things you have written inside this. Here I have written only one console.log, but in the upcoming classes, in the practice program, you will see, we'll also be increasing the value, we'll decrease the value, we'll write the addition operator, we'll perform the addition inside the inside this logic. We'll use another if else statement. You'll see tomorrow how to use multiple if inside the same if. So when this is true, when the logic is true, when the condition is true, the code inside the curly braces will get executed. Now, when this is getting executed, it will print some value. But when it is false, when it returns the value as false, it will not print anything. It will not go inside the true block. And that is what happening here in this particular case. This is false. If age is greater than 18, this is false. This statement is not correct. Age is 18. It is not greater than 18. It is equal to 18. When it is false, it will not, the executor will not go inside this particular code. Executor will not go inside the curly braces. Here it will not go inside this. And that is why you see for the first program, it is not returning any value. It is not returning, it is returning null value. There is nothing returned. Only for the second program, for this one, you are seeing there is a console value where it is talking about he or she is eligible for vote. Now understand in this way. See, with the same statement, think of a logic. Okay, just now I said, if the condition is not true, here I'm saying if there is a logic to validate the condition, executor will go inside the curly braces only when the condition return true. I know that this is a Boolean return. If there is a condition to check, it will definitely return a value in form of Boolean, that is true or false. When it is true, the executor will go inside that block and it will execute the code. But what happened when it is false? Here, I said this particular statement is false. When it is false, what happened? Because in the real life scenario, there should be something. If I say someone marks is 50 out of 100, he got 50, and I have a grading system. This will be the practice program for you people, or probably I'll write the program and I'll give you another practice program. So if a person who is, assume that there is a condition called if a person is getting marks in three different way. So one got 80, another got 70, another got 50, and another got 20. Percentage I'm talking about. So there is a grading system that if greater than 70, it should be for grade A. We'll write this program tomorrow. I'll say greater than, uh, I will say probably 60 is B, grade B. I'll say greater than 45 is grade C. And then I will say less than 30 is fail. Now you see there are four conditions. If the person is getting greater than 70% marks in the real life, don't see here in the, think about the real life class student kind of things. There are four students in a class. One person got 80 marks, another got 70, another got 50, another got 20. If a person who got 80, I'll have the grading system, I'll have the condition to check that if he or she is getting more than 70, that person is qualified as a grade A candidate. He can be considered as a topper. Okay, well and good. If someone is getting greater than 60, he can be considered at a grade B. Greater than 45, grade C. And someone got 20%, we'll say less than 30 is fail in the real life example. Now, if I don't put this particular statement, if I don't put this statement, less than 30 is fail, assume this is not there. What will happen for this particular candidate? The person who got 20%, in actual life, just think for a while. In real life, which grade you will assign to him? You have only given the three grading system. A person who is getting greater than 70 should be inside the A grade, greater than 60 should be inside B grade, and greater than 45 should be inside C grade. Well, all right, these three are falling inside this category. What will happen for this person? The person who is on the 20% marks, he is below everyone. What will happen to this person? It should return some value. Now, in the same logic, if you see here, I'm saying let age equal to 18. And I'm saying let age equal to, forget about age equal to 18. I'll say age equal to 20. To validate the person is eligible for voter ID, for applying for the voter ID or for to eligible for the driving license, I'll say age equal to 20. It will say, it will check the condition that he should be able to drive now. Should be able to drive. But what if a person age is only 15? If this person age is only 15, that means he's not eligible for driving. He's only eligible when he is more than 18. But when his age is less than 18, what should be the actual value? What my output should be? How my program should work there? What basically it should do? It should print some value. It should not leave it empty. Because if we already know that condition return true and false value. So when it return true, code inside this block will get executed. But when it return false, there should be something. It should return something else. It should print some value. And that's where the concept of else came into picture. Else statement is what when the statement become false, that's when the else statement came into picture. We'll see the syntax for the else. Same thing, I'll write if. Here it will be condition, and then we'll have the open and close curly braces. Here you will see the inside this what will happen is action or action block of code goes inside, or I'll just write block of code. Now, when it is returning a true value, we know by now that if it returns the true value, if the condition returns true value, the executor will go inside the true block, which is nothing but open and close curly braces. But when it returns false value, then else statement come into picture. You'll say else open and close curly braces. Now what basically will happen inside this else block of code goes here. We know by now that condition return true and false value. If it is true, this code will get executed till here. If it is false, if it is not returning the true value, then else block of code will get executed. That is why we call it as a true and false. If you take this particular example, we have 80, 70, 50 marks. But if person is getting 20, then there will be some other value we can say if I have not defined fail here, if I have not said fail, then what you'll say? You'll say undefined. This is not defined. He might, there is no grading system for him. He's 20. But when I say fail, you'll know that, okay, first three people are eligible in this category. They're eligible in the category of A, B, C grade. But anything below 45, if a person who is getting marks below 45, it means he is failed because there is no other grading system. He's getting 20, which means he is failed. And when it is fail, where it will go? It will go inside the false block, else blockers of code. Same example, if I take this particular example, I'll just copy and paste this one. In place of age, I will say age 1 equal to 15, age 1 greater than 18. Now, if I think of executing this one, what basically will happen? It will only execute the first, this particular line of code. Why? Because this is the if logic where it is getting true. This value is, this condition is returning the true value, and it will go inside the this block of code, if block of code. Now here I will write else open. This is how we'll write. We have said if block of code, and when we are writing any if value here, we are given the value saying that, okay, there is a value called 15. You need to validate the if value, and if it is true, then print this true value, true code. If it is false, then print this value. Now I'll say console.log he is not eligible for voting. He or she is not eligible for voting. Now if I execute this code, let's see what is happening here. See, it is printing the value saying that he or she is not eligible for voting. I will just comment these two line, and then you'll understand better what is happening here. Now if I execute this one, it is saying he or she is not eligible for voting. Look at this statement, what is happening here basically. So we have got a value, we declared a value here saying someone age is 18, 15. Assume my age is 15. Now when my age is 15, I need to validate my, actually what I want to validate here is, I want to validate if I am able to do the voting in the upcoming election or in the election that is happening right now. My age is 15, which is declared that I took birth somewhere around, it is 2026, around 2010. So my current age is 15. But government has given the eligibility that only the person whose age is greater than 18 or equal to 18 can vote inside the election. So if with that logic, I have to provide that particular logic inside the if statement, that if my age or person age is greater than or equal to 18, he or she is eligible for a vote. Same thing I'm checking here. I'm saying if age 1 is greater than 18, I can also provide greater than equal to. If the government has the eligibility criteria saying that person can be greater than or can be equal to, then I will say if age is greater than equal to 18, then go inside the true block. So it will check what is the age value, age 1 value, it is 15. So it will say age is greater than equal to 18. No, it is false. This will not go inside here. When it don't goes inside the curly braces, true curly braces, it will go inside the false curly braces. If it is not going inside the true block, it will go inside the false block. And what is the false block? Else block. So executor will go first here. It will check 15. It will check the condition. It will say, okay, the condition is not matching. It will not go inside this if block. It will come to else block. And inside the else block, whatever is printed, that it will print. So it will say, what will say inside the else block? It will say he or she is not eligible for voting. Why? Because he or she is not matching the criteria that government has set up. That is why you'll see there is a else statement. This is about the else condition. Any question? I am open for the question. If you have any question, you can ask me. Any confusion, you can also ask me here. So always remember that whenever we have the if and else block, if statement, if the condition is true, then only the if statement will get executed. If block of code will get executed. You can understand this in this way. If the condition is true, if block of code will get executed. If the condition return false value, then else block of code will be executed. Any question here? Any question, you can ask me the question. If not, we'll see one more small topic, which is if and if statement. There will be not much question in the if else, but probably you'll have some question on the for loop. Am I audible?
Yes, Robin.
Yeah.
Yes, Ramin.
Okay, all right. So we will see the next topic, very small topic, same inside like how we are writing the if else statement, same thing here also. So that is about the nested if. If and if statement is also called as nested if. What is the meaning of nested if? Nested if meaning is nothing but if inside the if inside the if block. So nested is nothing but anything that is, the nest, the bird will create a nest for their staying purpose. Same way, nested is nothing but any block of code that you write, it is inside the another block of code. Any condition is inside the another condition. It's not a single condition. So what basically will happen is, we have seen that there is a, let me uncomment these things so that okay. We have seen so far we have created a if statement where we said there is a let age, validate the age, and then you say the is he or she is eligible for voting or not. Now I have multiple value here. This is just a single value, so I'm able to do it. Now I have multiple value. What are the multiple value? With the same age logic, I'll go with the same age logic whatever we have written. I am saying I'll just take this value from here. I'll take the number value. I'll put this one. I'm saying there is a value called number equal to 20. Okay, well and good. And then there is one more value. I'll say let person equal to something called test. Now I have two value. One is number, one is person. If I have to validate, if I have to provide the if and first, let me write this one. Forget about what I said till now. Let's write the if and if syntax. So basically, how we'll write the if and if syntax is, you'll say if condition, then inside the condition, we already know by now that whenever the condition is true, it will go inside the if block of code, this block of code. So inside the if block of code, you will write one more if, because this is nested if. We are saying there should be if inside the if block. So where you'll write if inside the if block, this is the if condition, and this is the first block. This is the block of first if condition, and inside this if condition, you should write the second if condition, and the second if condition will also have this open and close curly braces, because by now we already know that each condition that you write, each if statement that you write, will always be written in this format, where we have this one, if condition open and close curly braces. Here also you'll see if condition open and close curly braces. So n number of how many times you write the if and else condition, it will always be inside this particular logic, inside the block. So think in this way. This is the one if condition, which is if condition followed by open and close curly braces. Now if I have to write else here, what I'll do, I'll write else here, and again this will have open and close curly braces. But this is not, we are not writing else here. We are writing if inside if. So this is one if, and inside this if we are writing one more block of if. Same thing we'll copy here and we'll put inside the if block. Now you see there is a if condition, and inside if condition, this is the if block of code, which this curly braces start from line number 18 and closes at line number 84. Now there is another if inside the same if condition. This is another if condition. So when this particular if will get executed, second if, We know by now that anything that is written inside the curly braces of the if condition, that will get executed when the first condition is true. Only when the condition is true, the executor will go inside the curly braces. When the condition is false, it will come out of these conditions. It will come out of these curly braces and it will go into the else block. So, so we know by now that uh, if there is multiple if condition, if there is a multiple if condition, then it will be inside one if condition. There will be another if condition. Same thing we are doing, trying to validate here. We have declared a value which is 20. We have also declared a value called person is test. Now we have to validate if inside the if logic. So first logic is we are checking if age, if number greater than equal to 18. And then we need to write one more if logic. So here we'll write if, and we have to give another condition. We definitely have to give the another condition. So I will say here if person equal to test. If I say if person equal to test, and then here I will write this particular block of code, and you know this particular piece of code will go inside this if logic, because this is a nested if. I'll explain you, don't worry if you're not understanding here anything. Okay, now look at this if and if statement. We have two variable declared. One is number, one is person. My criteria is I want people to verify that validate if both the statement are matching true, if both are returning true, using two if statement. So first statement I'll say, okay, validate if number is greater than 18. Now we know it will return the value in true or false. So when it returns the value of true, it will go inside the true block of code, which is this one. This is the complete true block of code. Now when the executor go inside the true block of code, which is here, inside this block of code, what basically it will see? It will see there is one more if statement written. Already here, executor has executed the first if statement. It will say there is one more if statement is written. Now what it will do, it will again check the condition, because we know inside the if statement the condition need to be checked. So it will check for the another condition. First condition is already true, that is why it went inside this particular statement loop. When it went inside this loop, this block body, inside this body, it will say there is another condition, and the condition is if person equal to test. The condition is if person equal to test, then print this value. So okay, executor will say number greater than 18, which is true. Number is 20, which is greater than equal to 18. It will go inside this one. It will say, okay, if person equal to test, it will print this value. Now let's see what it is doing. When I say person equal to true test, it will print the value. So it has printed the value saying he or she is eligible for vote, verified using if and if. See, he or she is eligible for vote, verified using if and if. Now assume that he or she, here I'll give something else. I'll give Roy. Now what should be the output? It will not print anything, because it went inside the for loop, it went inside the if loop, it went inside the true block of the code, but it did not come back. It did not come out of the block, because we did not write anything anywhere else statement. So if I say else console.log, not eligible. So he or she is not eligible for voting, which is the first one. And here give me a second. So here we are saying multiple validation is doing, multiple name is there. So, and what is basically happening is if a person is eligible for vote. Okay, so why it is not printing the else value? Because it has got first it is executing the first if value, then it is going inside the second if, and then from there first statement is getting true, and then it is going to the second statement, second if block, which is if person equal to Roy. So here we need to follow the multiple if else if ladder. If else if ladder, that we'll see it tomorrow what it is happening here. But for now, understand that when we are writing this if and if inside the if logic, we have multiple number, if number, we have multiple value called if number and person, and then we are checking the first condition. When we are checking the first condition, it goes inside the block of code. It will execute this block of code. If it is true, it will execute this value. If it is false, it will come out of the loop. So any questions so far anyone have on this particular if else and if and if ladder? If you have question, you can ask me, guys. Okay, so if there is no question, uh, we will close the session today, and tomorrow we'll complete the if statement completely. We'll complete the if statement, and we'll also complete the switch statement. Why I wanted to explain switch first along with the if, because if and switch works on the same logic. Both are similar things. However, the if is working same way, switch will also work. So usually we say switch is a replacement for if. When we have to print multiple value, or when we have to iterate through the same value, then we will be using the switch statement. We'll see it tomorrow what is the actual purpose of switch. But today we understood if else, and if ladder. Tomorrow we'll complete if and else, multiple if else statement. We'll write multiple program as well, and then we'll complete the switch statement. For today, only on the if and if else, I'll probably post one or two questions inside the WhatsApp group. Whenever you get time, you can take a look on that. I have stopped the